Danny Malin is a content creator who became one of the most beloved food reviewers on the internet. He's gained an incredible amount of success testing and then rating takeaways across the UK. However, over the last few months, the Rate My Takeaway channel has been shrouded in controversy and drama, which ultimately led Danny to walk away from the platform he had built from the ground up.
They are in control. And they have always been in control, and they have just basically had me doing the filming, and then they've just controlled everything.
So how did this beloved food review channel get torn apart and lead its host to walk away? But first, if you didn't know, I make weekly documentary videos here on this channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel so we can keep this YouTube dream alive. But if YouTube wasn't enough, my videos are now also available on Spotify. So if you can't get enough of me, you can now watch and listen to all of my videos on the go. So make sure to go check all of that out. But anyway, back to the video. Before Rate My Takeaway, Danny worked at Leeds Kirkgate Market as a butcher. In 2020, during the lockdowns of COVID, he was classified as a key worker, so his days were spent delivering meat. It was during this time that Danny made a video making fun of everyone going crazy over toilet rolls in supermarkets. Overnight, this video went viral. This gave Danny incentive to make promotional videos for the butchers that he worked for. Coincidentally, while delivering meat to a shop one day, he met a lad who had seen Danny's videos and told him that he had social media channels and could help Danny reach a much wider audience. Not thinking much of it, he gave it a couple of weeks before giving the guy a call.
And he said to me, they got Rate My Takeaway on Facebook, they got 200,000 followers, and it was just picture content. So they said to me, would you mind doing a video? So I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, we'll buy you a kebab, you eat it, rate it, tell us what you think. And I thought, well, if you're paying, pal, I'm on it. You know, being Yorkshire, and I thought, oh, funny, oh, bang, I'm having some of that. And yeah, we did that, and you know, the cameraman, you know, he was in partnership with him, and we all got together and we just continued to do it. And then about 8 months later, we put it on YouTube, and bang, it just went viral. And since then, we've just been full steam ahead with it, to be honest.
In November 2020, the first ever video was uploaded to the channel, in which Danny would try a 5,000 calorie takeaway munchie box. And like Danny said, the channel started absolutely flying. The first 3 videos on the channel did a total of 9 million views alone. The camping chair and fold-out table outside of every establishment made it basically impossible not to watch. And ultimately, the videos were about food, but everyone was there for Danny's personality. His strong Yorkshire accent, mixed with his overwhelming enthusiasm, made him extremely entertaining to watch. However, in February 2021, Danny's world would become shattered after his long-term partner suddenly died of a heart attack.
Sadly, my partner, Carrie, loved me like she passed away in February.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
Yeah, so it was pretty tough. So it sort of, you know, it hit me like a steam train, to be honest. And I spent 4 or 5 weeks just not knowing what to do. Obviously, social media stuff, it slowed down. Obviously, I didn't do anything, but it sort of, obviously, people picked up on what was going on. So there were a lot of newspaper articles locally in Leeds and what had happened. And obviously, 3 kids at home. So there's like my 2 youngest, and then Carrie's eldest, who's my stepson. It was just awful. Just out of the blue, awful. And then all of a sudden, after like 4 or 5 weeks, I got a lot of support from people coming round and talking to me and phoning. And I just decided, you know what, you know, she wouldn't want me to sit and wallow in self-pity, and you know, I've got to do what I can for kids, and I've got to show my kids that, you know, the mum would have wanted us to be happy and live on. To be honest, the YouTube sort of fame, if you like, when it took off, come around that time, like 4 or 5 weeks in, it started to grow then. So it's changed the life for me and the kids, and it's given us something good to focus on. So my kids, when they're seeing me on things like this, radio interviews, in newspapers, they think it's amazing. But it's like my oldest lad and my daughter, when I said I was coming down here for you today, my God, my oldest lad, he was straight on phone to his mates, look at this. And then when you put it on the other week, his mates were phoning him up, oh, I can't believe it's going on. So like, again, for me, you know, some fat bloke from Leeds eating kebabs being down here, it's quite surreal, but it's helped me out with my kids, and I can't thank people enough.
With this newfound virality helping Danny through a tough period in his life, the Rate My Takeaway platforms continued to grow. So much so, Danny became a silent partner in a burger restaurant in Pudsey. It was announced through a video of him trying the food, but wanting to remain impartial, he didn't give it a rating. But 2022 was a huge year for the brand of Rate My Takeaway, with them even embarking on a summer tour of the United States to review the very best takeaways New York, Vegas and LA had to offer. And by 2024, the channel channel had well over 700,000 subscribers and amassed over 125 million views. However, in February 2024, Danny's life would change once again after suffering 2 strokes in 2 weeks and was diagnosed with a blood clot on the brain.
I got stuff going off with the channel, I got some personal issues going on, and I was under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and there was just too much going on. And on the day that it happened, I was going outside, I just put some washer fluid in my car, we were going out for a family meal for the birthday, and as I was walking back in the house, all I remember is just feeling a little bit dizzy, and then the next thing I know, all hell's broken loose, and Sophie's got upset and phoned for an ambulance and all this because I've had a stroke. Obviously she said that my face went drooped to one side, I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know where I was. So I was admitted to hospital. They said they did a few scans, said that I got a blood clot at the side of my head here, which caused me to have a stroke. But me being me, the idiot that I am, I come out of hospital and I had 2 meet and greets booked in for my fans, one at the Trinity in Leeds and one at the Ridings in Wakefield. Trinity were on the Monday, Wakefield were on the Saturday, and the doctor said, just plenty of rest. Lost quite a bit of movement in my left side. So I decided that I could just sit there and just talk to people, not realising the full impact that the stroke had had. So I did it on the Monday and I was shattered. Did it on the Saturday again, I was shattered. On the Sunday, went to put something in the microwave and I lost 20 minutes of my life again and I had another one. So I was back in hospital. So it was like 2 within space of like 2 weeks. So I was pretty lucky, to be honest.
Despite health concerns, Rate My Takeaway ploughed on and planned even bigger and better things. One of these things was the Rate My Takeaway kitchen, a food court in a Huddersfield shopping centre that would house independent food vendors. This place was actually a great idea and was maximised for their fans to visit a physical space where the interbreeding of social media and real life could intertwine. However, with the business flourishing like never before, the next year would be shrouded in controversy. Throughout 2025, bubblings of drama were surfacing within the UK food review world. You see, early on in the year, the Food Review Club channel was outed for allegedly getting paid to review restaurants' food, sometimes apparently in the range of £1,500. Now, obviously, if that's the case, ethically, it kind of makes it unclear to your audience what is and isn't an ad. This outrage originally stemmed from a business in Cornwall, who was shocked to find out that the Food Review Club had emailed them saying that it would cost them £750 for a visit, which was 50% off the original price because Matt was in the local area. Oh, how nice of them, just the £750. The owner of the business said, "It does feel like there's a huge injustice and it's a proper insult. I do think the guy is a complete phony." And that's a quote from me that isn't swearing. It's so misleading, and if he's getting paid for it, it should be disclosed. Paid adverts are fine and promotions are great, but this guy makes it so disingenuous. Now, of course, because Matt got caught out for doing paid reviews, it led people to assume that others could be doing the same, which led Danny to speak out about how it may affect the industry and reiterated that he would never do a paid review. This then led to Matt responding to Danny in a video a week later.
Yes, you can book us in to visit a venue, but everything that happens after that point is off the table. What to think, what to order, what to say, what to score it is completely and utterly down to us. This is something that's very, very important to us. Now, one particular video I want to address now to you guys is Danny from Rate My Takeaway. He has said a few things in that video, some of which are strange, some of which are very untrue and are hugely damaging. What he said about us being neck and neck in the early days, both of us have been doing this a long time, is true. He and his team at Rate My Takeaway blew up overnight on YouTube. And of course I was getting messages from people asking how that felt to see them explode, and my honest answer at the time, always maintained this, after what he went through in his personal life, I said it couldn't have happened to a better team. Our time will come, I'm sure of it, but for now, let them have their flowers. They smashed it. They did a great job and they've got a great product. Our competitive jousting towards them is absolutely not bullying and never has been. There's been times where we have desperately needed a table and chairs. It happens all the time, still to this day. Of course, we can't now whip out a table and chair, so we reference it tongue-in-cheek. A bit of competitive sledging, shall we say, a bit of banter. I come from a sporting background where that's normal, certainly not bullying. I've never been a bully. I'm a big advocate for sticking up for people. You know this, Danny, firsthand. Yeah, I might be direct and a little bit clear with my words sometimes, but I've got a really big heart, and you know that. So this narrative that I'm a pig who's stealing people's money is ridiculous.
Bottom line here is you were massively jealous of his success, so you decided to start making digs at him. End of story. The James Corden of the food review scene. Rate My Takeaway and Gary Eats is all you need. This dude can jog on. In a podcast interview, Danny addressed the drama and what he really thinks about the ethics behind getting paid to review.
We're doing a review, so I'm going to taste it, I'm going to give my opinion, and then I'm going to rate it out of 10 what I think it's worth out of 10. So therefore, we don't need payment for this, because we knew we'd be getting the ad revenue from Facebook, from TikTok, from YouTube, and we'd earn money like that. Matt from Food Review Club, I've never personally spoken to the guy, never spoken to him. Obviously know who he is, because me and Matt, we were level pegging on Facebook. 1 week I'd be in front, 1 week he would. He started 5 or 6 months before me. We'd already got the Facebook page, so that gave us a bit of an advantage, and then he did really well, to be fair. He grew his following way back in the beginning, and I used to watch his content. So, and he did his thing and I did mine, and we just never sort of crossed paths, never spoke, never did anything. And then obviously somebody outed him in Cornwall for charging for reviews. Now I knew that he charged, because let's be right, I've been to some places that Matt's been, and I've gone and they've gone, I've walked in, we walk in with a camera, we're filming, and then they'll go, well, how much do you want? So I turn the camera off and I go, we don't want nothing, I'm going to pay for the food. Oh no, we'll give you the food for free. And I insist in paying as well, because they've got to earn a living. So I'm walking into this small business, or this food business, no matter how big or small it is, and like you said, I'm going to make an impact. It's either going to be good or it's going to be bad for them, right? It's going to be one or the other.
In July 2025, the trifecta of British food reviewers, Danny, Gary Eats and Greeno Eats, went down to Padstow in Cornwall to do a review for the Rate My Takeaway channel at Rick Stein's fish and chip shop. However, when the video went up, the comments were filled with abuse.
I'm brilliant friends with Danny, and I have got to tell you that I've done some filming with them in the past, and I probably wouldn't do any filming with the team from Rate My Takeaway again. In fact, I can say I'm not going to do any filming with the team from Rate My Takeaway ever again. I speak to Danny a lot, Danny speaks to me a lot. I went down to Padstow, done a video with Danny on his channel, cameraman, Danny, myself, Greeno, really good friend Greeno, and the video went up. And in the comment section, the abuse was like nothing I've ever seen before, and I do mean ever. Directed towards me, towards Danny's wife, towards Greeno. It was unbelievable. I then contacted the team and I said, look, guys, you're going to have to sort this out. You're going to have to take these bad comments down. They're not good, they're not nice, and they're not pleasant to read. And I'm really lucky on our channel. The community page is absolutely fantastic. Nothing. I've got a message back saying, yeah, we'll do something about it. They didn't do anything about it. I'm resting my case. I'm not going to say any more, just disappointed.
On the 28th of August 2025, unbeknownst to viewers at the time, the Rate My Takeaway channel would post its last video on the channel. The video in question was called "This Texas Barbecue Was Insane." In the pinned comment below this video, Rate My Takeaway commented, "All is not what it seems. You need to look through the allegations and see the bigger picture. Me and the cameraman never pushed Danny out or asked him to leave, so this is a big shock to us. We never asked for more money. From the very beginning of our relationship, before Danny's fame, we agreed to split the profits equally, and that never changed. Thank you for understanding and support, sad emoji." On the 5th of September 2025, Danny uploaded a video to his channel that he has with his new partner, called "Why I'm Quitting Rate My Takeaway."
I can't go into too much detail right now, but basically the relationship between myself, the cameraman and the editor has now become untenable, really. I've always said that, it's three of us, that we split things equally. What I mean by that is obviously the monetary side of things is split equally. I should also be equal within the business, but that's something that, from day one, for whatever reasons, I don't get access to certain things, or, I can't do this. And it's something that we've, between the three of us, that we've battled in and around for years. But due to, my recent health struggles, mainly my mental health, I did a video earlier on in the year, spoke about how I had a stroke, the adverse effect that I had then with mental health, with dealing with different things. Obviously I've suffered with mental health difficulties for the last 5 years now, 4 or 5 years, for all different reasons. But because of the relationship between me and the other two guys, that's deteriorated quite a bit. It's just got to the time where I just need to move on.
Start your own channel, run it your way, we'll be right behind you. The heart of the show was always your personality, not the food, the camera work or the edits. You're the reason people tuned in. That's why I've no doubt the channel's views will drop without you. And equally, any new channel you start will thrive. The subscribers will follow you wherever you go, no question about it. After Danny posted this video and announced his departure from Rate My Takeaway, the channel lost over 22,000 subscribers in the space of a week. After Danny told his side of the story, the Rate My Takeaway channel posted a number of statements trying to address the situation, except one post which was like an essay close to 1,000 words in their community section, which somewhat address the situation. We want to take the time to explain everything properly because so many of you have supported Rate My Takeaway from the very beginning. From day one, the agreement was simple and we would handle everything else behind the scenes. The filming, the editing, the uploading, the social media and the overall growth of the platforms. At first, we uploaded the videos to Facebook and people really enjoyed them. The videos were too long for that audience, but we weren't starting from scratch, we had already built up a strong following on Twitter long before YouTube, so we tried again there. The breakthrough moment came with the Grandma's Kitchen video. We posted it to Twitter and it went viral. That one clip changed everything. People began flocking to the YouTube channel and suddenly the project took on a life of its own. And this was never just a work thing. We became good friends with Danny. He often referred to us as family and for a long time it really felt that way. We laughed together, travelled together, shared meals together and supported each other. That's why this happening now is so difficult. It doesn't just feel like the end of a working partnership, it also feels like the loss of a friendship we value deeply. Now Danny has chosen to step away and we respect that choice. We also need to be honest. We've asked him multiple times to film a farewell video so things could be explained properly to the audience, but chose not to, and when we suggested sitting down together in the same room and filming both sides for you all, he refused. We had hope for closure as a team, but sadly it hasn't been possible. We've also been reading all your comments and we understand how people feel. We know the audience is here for Danny and we completely respect that. We're not expecting anyone to care about us in the same way, and that's okay. We understand why people see things the way they do, and we don't hold that against anyone. All we ask is that you understand we've never had bad intentions. The truth is, this whole situation has left us feeling a bit lost. And the hardest part is that, because we don't have the confidence to speak on camera ourselves, it probably looks even worse from the outside. That's why we've chosen to write all of this instead. It's the only way we feel that we can be fully honest and clear to you. As for what happens next, we don't know right now. Our main aim here is to simply make sure that the past is understood clearly. At the heart of it, we're just sad it's ended this way. We've poured years into Rate My Takeaway and it hurts to feel like people might see us in the wrong light. You've written an essay but never addressed the real issues. Access, transparency, money and the van. All this backstory doesn't explain why Danny was locked out or why the basics of running a business weren't in place. Not giving him access to the channel or the ability to remove comments himself is absurd. That's not partnership, that's control. And now it's backfired. A week later, on the 8th of September, Danny posted a 36-minute long video explaining his entire story since the beginning of the channel. But more specifically, he recounted how it was never an issue about money and that the cameraman and editor wanted to manage Danny as a creator.
So I thought I'd just come on today because obviously since I put that video out, cameraman editor have put a video out, sent it down, they've put a couple of statements out, edited them, and things are a little bit unclear. Having to come to that decision was a very big thing. Now there's just a couple of points that I want to clarify, okay, just to make very clear because people are getting a little bit mixed up and assumptions, which is fine. So the money situation within Rate My Takeaway, nobody got greedy, all right? So it's never been an issue. Me stepping away has never been an issue with the money. What it was is the reason why we did that and we split it 3 ways. I was told I'd be an equal partner within the company Rate My Takeaway. So when we first went viral, I got made an offer by the 2 lads, and the offer was I could have 50% of the ad revenue or I could be an equal partner within the company. Obviously, I chose to be an equal partner because I knew that, there's a lot more worth in that. I knew that we'd build something amazing together, which is what we've done. But over the years, what happened was when we come to this agreement, the guys, cameraman, the editor, I'm going to call them by the name now because obviously, some of you know. So the cameraman is Tom, the editor is Josh. So Tom sort of in charge, he's always been in charge. What they said to me is they wanted to manage me as a creator, all right, so to become my manager. Now we had an issue issue where we got contacted by Lifted Entertainment. Lifted Entertainment wanted to put a version of Rate My Takeaway or something different on TV. At that point, that's when we started talking about contracts and this and the other. Now, I was promised, well, what Tom said to me was, nobody is filming anymore, nobody is doing anything else on Rate My Takeaway until I sign this management contract. Now, the agreement was they look after me outside of Rate My Takeaway, they manage me as an influencer, they do their very best to make sure that I get jobs, opportunities and create a platform for me. Now, what they did is they helped me with a Facebook page, but they have ownership of that, they took ownership of that, then just concentrated on Rate My Takeaway and nothing else. Lifted Entertainment, sadly, didn't want to work with Tom. This is what the guy said to me. He said he was just wasn't a right fit for them. Now, at this time, they were asking me to sign this contract. I was promised a third of the Rate My Takeaway business. I was promised part of Rate My Plate, which is one of their other companies, and that we'd possibly do something on that. So I was promised all this, but I've got to sign this contract first. Just to put it into context, at that time, it was about 9 weeks after my ex-partner had passed away, and I was there with 3 kids at home. I just had a lump of money go into my bank from YouTube, which was phenomenal, which would have been probably 4 to 5 months' wages, what I would have got before. Thinking to myself, what am I going to do? I thought, this is going to look after my family. I was highly sedated on antidepressants because of the situation and you know, me thinking what I'm going to do with my kids. Now, I'm not using this as an excuse, I'm just putting into context how I was at the time. So I just went with it. I signed the contract. The thing is, I never got anything from them regarding Rate My Takeaway once I'd done that. I never got access to things.
Danny also addressed his previous goodbye video and explained how after giving in his resignation, within hours, the money was split equally and he was then locked out the Rate My Takeaway emails and the team van.
I'd actually handed my resignation in Thursday the week before, and I'm going to be honest, within that week, as soon as I put it in that Thursday night, within 3 hours I was locked out of the email, could no longer get onto the Rate My Takeaway email. Within 5 hours, bank account was emptied, split between the 3 of us, right? So they didn't take the money, they split it between the 3 of us, and then on the Tuesday the van was taken from the secure compound that we keep it in. Now, we got the van through the funds that we'd earned through Rate My Takeaway, through the sponsorship deal with Uber. That's why we did the sponsorship deal with Uber, and that would pay for the van. I've then been told, because I'm the registered keeper of the van, I've then been told by Tom persistently, he's not telling me where the van is. I've got no claim over the van. I'm not having the van, or I'm not having anything to do with the van, which I think is unfair. He then said about legal action and that I need to get a solicitor to contact him within 7 days, and then repeatedly said that it's inevitable that legal action is going to come. So within my notice, what I put in there was that I was willing to film 12 episodes, which is what I filmed per month, and that one of them I would like to be a farewell episode. Because of the actions that they took straight away, draining the bank account, hiding the van. When they drained the bank account, that meant that the tax on the van wasn't paid. Now, I know that there was an issue, somebody were commenting about the van being untaxed, and again, it's not down to me. This is, you know, Tom sorts all this out, and he'd not taxed the van at one point, but it's me that owns the van, so I ended up getting a fine, and we got a fine to pay because the van was untaxed for a couple of months. In my head, I own a third of Rate My Takeaway, the brand, the business. This is what I've signed up for. The contract between us for the management, that died 2 years ago because they didn't fulfil what they were supposed to fulfil, and there was a clause in there to say that if they lapsed for 30 days, the contract become void. And it had lapsed for more than 30 days, so the contract become void. We then spent ages trying to sort out a new contract, and they weren't having it. We did a deal with Estabulo for sponsorship, or should I say I brokered the deal. Afterwards, we were sat in one of the guys' restaurants and we're having a bit of food, and I was like, guys, that's good that, you know, we've got a 2-year deal, you know, this is really good, this money's going to help us, it's going to help us to you know, improve the channel. Now, what was said to me by Tom was, right, well, if you want that signing, you need to sign a contract with us, because they are in control. And they have always been in control, and they have just basically had me doing the filming, and then they've just controlled everything. So, you know, what they say in those statements, believe me, is so far from the truth, it's unbelievable.
On the 28th of October 2025, Danny and Gary announced that they would be combining forces and launching a brand new channel called Danny and Gary.
Right, let's cut the mustard here, let's cut to the crack. Oh, you guys, there's been loads of messages, haven't there, Gaz, saying,
Absolutely loads.
what are you two doing? Gary, go on your own, don't go with him, he's going to wreck it. Danny, get out there, be yourself, don't do it with Gary. So do you know what?
That's what we've decided to do.
We've decided, that is it. We're going to listen to you.
See you later, Danny.
All the best, pal.
Very nice to meet you.
Come back here. When have we ever listened to anyone?
The next day after this video was published, Danny gave an update on the future of the Rate My Takeaway kitchen at Huddersfield Shopping Centre.
Now then guys, how are you doing? So it's with much regret that I inform you that as from Monday the 10th of November, Rate My Takeaway Kitchen will no longer be operating inside the Packhorse Shopping Centre. That doesn't mean that the independent businesses there are going to close. They are going to remain open and they're still going to be serving you some absolutely fantastic food. So please guys, show them the support like you have done since we've been there the last 12 months. We just want to thank all the customers, all the people that have travelled far and wide to visit, all the vendors that have come, that have gone, that are still there. We do appreciate your support. So thank you very much. Take care.
The story of Rate My Takeaway is one of those rare internet journeys that felt genuinely wholesome. A bloke with a camping chair, a tray table, and a passion for good food captured the heart of millions. However, like anything in social media and the business world, money and control take centre stage. But whether you agree with Danny or the cameraman and the editor, one thing is for certain, is that the audience will always be there for Danny. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching this video, it really does mean a lot to me. If you want to listen to me on the go, all of my videos are now available on Spotify, so make sure to go follow me over there, along with my Instagram at PhatMemer. And while you're still here, like this video, subscribe, and comment below what you want to see next. As always, I'll see you in the next one.